Today I want to talk about how HaShem reveals himself to different people in different ways. And how the person themselves see HaShem in a different way. But at the end, it all has to come out to, and everybody has to jump another level to realize that the way he saw it is only a mode, a individualistic thing, but really Hashem is much greater and bigger, and on all the ways and everything, Hashem is one. I want to start off with an example. Yaakov said when he was approaching Esav, Yaakov being Emes and Esav being Sheker. So Yaakov says, in Lovan Garti, he's relating to his brother after they separated for a period of time and now they're meeting again. And Esav's out there really to kill Yaakov, to get a pound of flesh because he felt his brother stole away his birthright and the injustice and all these hard feelings. And Yaakov was trying to appease his brother and save his life and somehow getting peace between him and his brother. So his beginning move, going to King 4 move, is, he says, in Lovan Garti, I stay with Lovan, Va'ili Shor, Chamor, Tzon, Ve'ever Shifcha. I have Shor, Chamor, Tzon, Ever Shifcha. So, according to the simple pshat, Yaakov wanted to make himself small, as the Medrash says, that a tzaddik says a little about himself. So what do you have? Was you minimize who you are and what you are. So therefore, the malachim, the messengers that went out from Yaakov to say these things to Esav, they didn't understand that, he doesn't have anything physical. Since Yaakov is a spiritual person, must mean, and malachim are angels. What do you mean by Shor? Shor means Yosef. And Chamor means Mashiach ben David. And Tzon is the schus of the Shvatim. Ve'ever is Moshe. B'shivcha is Ruth. So therefore, they said, listen, we got all these spiritual giants on our side. How can you have a conflict with us? You're going to lose. And Esav, on the other hand, when he heard these words, he understood from Yaakov saying, even though I was in the house of Lavan, and Lavan was a crook, I was there 20 years, you see what I got? I have physical property. I have a lot of wealth. And therefore, don't start up with me. So, from the same sentence, I had three different ways of looking at what was said. Now the question is, why did each one see it in his light? Say a statement is made, and the statement is understood. And it's understood in three different ways of interpretation, because words have certain reference, certain meaning, and the way you want to see, or the way you look to see, is what you see. So it depends what kind of eye do you see, with a critical eye, with an eye of kindness, an eye of mercy. What kind of eye do you see? Well, you take any situation, and everyone knows the famous story of Rabbi Akiva, and they passed by these animals, and they said, "Oh, animal doesn't have a good smell." And Rabbi Kiva said, "What? Look at his white teeth." No, it depends how you view the story, how you see what you see. So today I found a medrash, it's a Yalkut Shmoni, that I would like to read to you. Yalkut Shmoni. It's in small print, so we have to bear with ourselves in what it says. Okay? So we're talking about the Almighty at Har Sinai. Anybody speaks French here? These people think. Okay, now. Okay. Dovach, Lefi Shenira Lahem. Now we're talking about the Almighty. What? Okay. So the Almighty, we're talking, this text comes from Har Sinai. The Jews are at Har Sinai. Now, Lefi Shenira Lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Yam Ki Gibor, the Almighty, and the Jewish people were in the splitting of the Red Sea. So how did they picture the Almighty? They picture him as a Gibor, strong. Osa B'Chomer, the daughter. V'nir Lahem B'Sinai, when he saw HaShem at Har Sinai, what did they think? Kesofer Malami Torah, like a scribe teaching Torah. V'nir Lahem B'Yimei Daniel, B'Zokein Moli Rachmin. The timing of it as an old man with mercy. So now, there are three different modes that people, at different periods of time, they see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One, he's a fighter. The other one as a sofer, and the third as an old man with mercy. Omar Lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What do you say? You have one of these papers?
No.
Yeah, we got it. Omar Lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lo bilshvil sha'atem roim osi dimyonos harbe. You would think that you see me in many ways. There are many gods. It was the perspective you see is what you see, so that's what it is. As a man decides what he sees according to his senses. What do you understand? El anihu shebeyam anihu shebesinai. I'm in the Yam and I'm in the Sinai. Ani HaShem Elokecha. I am one God. So again, the story goes on. Omer Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Lefi kol esek ve'esek kol davar davar. According to each action or according to each thing, the Almighty appeared. This is from the Almighty side. The Yam ki gibor osu b'chomer. In the Yam, he was like a warrior. V'nira lahem b'Sinai, he appeared to them in Sinai, Kesofim Malami Torah. And they had been made shleimah, Lefi, I don't know, something. V'nirach Lefi Masehem, Kemara, Kilavonon, Bochel Karozim. V'nira lahem Levi Daniel, B'Zokein Malami Torah, Shekeinu Torah Yosh Yotzei, B'Pisa Canaan. They switch a little bit. The Canaan is Torah, Dovach. Onei HaShem Elokecha, Omer Rabbi Chanina bar Papa. Nir Lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ponim Zofas, Ponim Masbira, Ponim Beinonis, and Ponim Sochachos. The Almighty showed His mode. We have four different modes. One, anger. One, with understanding. One, no real emotion. And the other one, joking around, happiness. And they explain. Ponim Zoafos. The Almighty's face is strong, stern, lemikra. Kishoda malamed beno Torah tzorach little moed beima. When you teach a child the meaning of Torah, you need discipline. Discipline. However, when he gets older, ponim zoafos. He's going to put him. 1 second. Ponim beinonis, the Mishnah. When he gets a little old, he's learning Mishnah. How should he be? Beinon. Ponim masbiros, the Talmud. He gets a little older and he needs, Rabbi will tell me somebody with patience and explains things and explains something. When they're going to teach Haggadah, you need what? What's Sochakos? Happiness, joy, valor. Now stop. Let's say you succeeded in teaching your child when he's young, being stern, and you now apply that when he's learning Mishnayos. Will it work? Mm. You apply it to when he's learning Gemara, or apply it when he's learning Agadata. Let's say you succeeded in teaching him Agadata. You're a mother, and you say nice stories to your kids, right? Sochakot, enjoyable stories, and you're succeeding. Now you want to teach him how to read and Chumash. Would it be good Sochakot? Let's say you want to do Talmud. Would it be good Sochakot? And if you're learning Chumash, would it be good Sochakot? Let's take Beinonis. Would it be good Beinonis for Mikvah? No. Would it be good for Talmud? No. So you see that there's a certain mode that each time you need to win a certain point. To be effective in a certain type of learning, you need a certain type of personality or a certain type of way of relating. When you get married, you want a guy, you want a fun guy. But after a fun guy, you want him to not be funny, you want him to be involved in the house, take care of the children. So one type is marriage, well, why you get married? And then how to stay married. A little later, different modes. Same thing, a girl, you want a girl to be understanding, sweet. Right? And then when you're in the house, what face should they have? Stern, or a stern woman? What kind of wife you want? Happy, joking around? Maybe you go out, you want to joke around. In the house. So there's different hats, different faces you want at certain times, okay? And that's what the Almighty does to us. Okay? So even though there are different modes, then you'll think maybe there's four gods. You see all these ways, I'm your God. What does that mean? You have to go beyond the situation. You taught your children, and you were stern, a disciplinarian. Right? So you have to know that there's only one mode at one time, in one place, one person, a certain time that's needed. Now, there's a point of growth. You have to know there's only one way. But behind you have to get rid of that mode and know there's one God. And there are other modes, other ways to express and be. Omar Laura Levi, another case. Nira lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Almighty showed to them ki ikonin zu shemar upon l'chol side. Some type of a face that we see on all sides. Elef b'nei adam mabitim bo v'hi mabitas b'kulam. It's like a mirror. Everybody looks, and then you see a certain image. You want to know what you want to see. Kach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is very important. Kishohoya medaber kol echad b'Yisrael. No, when Hashem was speaking, kasher medaber kol echad b'Yisrael hoya omer imi hadibor medaber. He said that God is speaking to me. In other words, I was by a Hasidic Rabbi, by Lubavitcher Rabbi, talking about when he was a young man yet. And before he had this big 77, he had a 77, but he used to have it across the street, he used to have this hall that he would rent. And he would raise his cup to say L'chaim. And I'm way back in the end row, maybe 200 people ahead of us in rows. This fellow raises his cup right next to me. And he said, L'chaim. I said, L'chaim. He says, look, the Rebbe saw me and spoke to me. I knew he looked at me. So I said, I can't look at you. You're so far away. He said, no, he looked at me. I said, okay. Now, but I understood it years later. What he meant to say really was that When you read a storybook, or you hear something like, the words were spoken to you, it has meaning to you. And each one thought that clearly Hashem spoke to them. So now how can Hashem speak to you and speak to him and speak to everybody? And he spoke to you one way. And the Gemara says that the blind man, he explained it one way, and the deaf man another way, and the old man another way, and a person has lost one way. He spoke to everybody. So now, when you relate to Hashem in a certain way, you say, I was successful. When I was young, I went into the forest, I spoke to God, and God related to me. If any time I'm in trouble, I'm going to go to the forest, and I'm going to speak to Hashem. But maybe only when you're young, but a certain mode of feeling that happens. Maybe when you get older, you will talk to Hashem during Tziyon and Beit Knesset. Or when you're doing a mitzvah. When you light the candles. So you have to know that although he speaks to you personally, now there's a story in the Gemara Nida that it was Rav Shilo and Rav Asi. And Rav Shilo heard from his Rabbi, that's Rav, a certain law. So when Rav was about to die, he said to Rav Asi, listen, Rav Asi, I want you to tell Rav Shilo that they tell him he should change. If not, Gare Lay. So Gare Lay means convince him. But instead of the Ray, she heard a Dalet. Gadre Lay. It means to put him in Cherem, excommunicate. He didn't hear his Rebbe right. So he spoke to Rav Shilo and said, listen, Rebbe said, Rav, your rabbi, Rav, before he died, told me to tell you that he changed his religious ruling. It just can't be. I didn't hear it from personally. He kept his way. So he said, you're getting stubborn. The Rebbe said, put you in Cherem. And he put him in Cherem. What happened was, that morning, Rav Asi got sick and died. And Rav Shilo at the end told his wife, get ready, I'm going to die also. They both died. Now why did they die? So he explained that. Rav Shilo didn't want to let go. He heard something, it's in the brain. My mommy told me, I know this is it. That's it. You're not ready to change or grow and make it quantumly. And the other person didn't hear straight. He should have said, I didn't put him in Cherem. Maybe I didn't hear right. So the first rabbi should have said, maybe the Rebbe changed his mind. Rav changed his mind. The other one should say, maybe it's not really, no, maybe it's really not so. Maybe I heard wrong, maybe I didn't hear it right. What does that mean? We have a rule. Again, Yogatim Matzos. You work hard in the physical world. You follow your way, how you understand things, to a certain point as much as you can. And then you must make the quantum leap, another leap, to let God teach you something that you never knew before. It's not just the old that you have. You have something new, something different.
That's
a new
hard.
way. What?
That's very hard.
Of course. Most people just bringing out what they heard or feel. Now, so therefore the rabbis should have tried to thought maybe they could change, they could move another way. Now each one saw God in a certain way. He came to a certain conclusion. But they have to know that Hashem reveals us in many ways. So you can't say, well, there's many ways, I got one way. No. Then my way is good now, but I'm going to have to change it and get a little more advanced to grow further. He has to make that quantum leap to be able to grow further. And God has to bring you to another dimension of another level of understanding.
I think it's very hard because you have to be very, very focused to be able to do that, to be in that place, to understand it. And I think the problem is that you're scared to be open because
it's threatening. It's threatening. And it'll be an identity crisis. And all your hard work goes down the drain.
Also that, and also you endanger. I know there's like the outside people and rabbis, they're against being open.
Right.
But I grew up religious kind of. I was taught, no, you have to see it this way and don't let yourself think too much or see too much because and it stops growth. It's hard.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you
But
know
you
where
see,
to put the limits?
but
And
you
who
see,
should put limits?
there's also a trick to the story. When you say open, doesn't mean open. Sometimes open is bad. Let's say now, I know anything about life, and I'm going to go into the street, and I'm going to go to these very illegitimate homes, and I'm going to go into the dirt or the filth of the world. That's what I got to do. Because I want to be open. I want to see the world. There's a certain point that we're talking about seeing God. There's a certain point. There's a thing called handed down tradition. We have a handed down tradition from your rabbi to the next rabbi. What you're supposed to, what's in and what's out. To keep that tradition. That you can't change until somebody comes along with another tradition who can show you or prove to you that it's better. But in your tradition, you got to keep true to your tradition. But here we're talking about in yourself. But are you ready to grow? And even in your tradition, ready to grow and jump another leap in your tradition, your way.
Inside certain limits.
Yeah, but in the limits you have, so you got to get to understand. When you do something, just to work the most you can, that brings out your potential to actual. But then, where does God come in? You're just developing yourself. God is a place where you cannot go yourself anymore. And then you must hold on to Him and jump another level. It's like physical exercise, muscles, till a point, you do a little more, and you get tired. You don't say, well, I won't strain myself. You don't strain yourself, what happens? No pain, no gain. You don't strain yourself, you don't gain, you don't grow. Are you with me? You gotta make another jump. Most people are afraid, I agree with you, to make that leap. But the question, what? Because the Yetzer can come out in all kinds of forms and tell you to do crazy things. Since somebody came, there's been a shaman, therefore do it. No. It means in your system, whatever system you have to know it's open, and it's only in your job at the end to see HaShem, and you've got to rely upon HaShem to make another quantum leap to be able to let go and see the future. Now, what's going to happen? Yemos HaMashiach in the Messianic period. Very simple. The answer is how we solve our problems. Tishbi is the other if he's going to come and answer the problem. He's going to show us another way of thinking, another way of growth, which is another quantum leap. There's going to be a Shiur Chadash, a new song. It's going to happen. Now, I know what I'm doing the best I can, the way I see things. But at a certain point, I know that I'm able to grow from it. I know this is not the only thing, but I have to follow my logic. I have a handed down tradition I must follow. And then I must be able to rely upon Hashem to make another leap. Otherwise you don't grow. It becomes stale. When I say, leave me alone, you have your way of religion, I have my way of religion, that means no growth. It means I'm not ready to open and see. Well, I say, I'm right and you're wrong. So if you have a handed down tradition from your Rebbe, this is right and that's wrong, that's your tradition. But if you happen to relate this way at a certain time and place, and then you say, I'm right and wrong, I'm right and you're wrong, that's a little harder tradition. You can say, I'll follow my way until shown otherwise. According to my system, the other way is not the accepted way. But you're open to change and growth. The main thing is, and one of the worst things is called Anashim Melumada. Anashim Melumada means habits, set in ways. When you get old, what's supposed to happen? That will happen. Calcification of the bones. The spinal cord gets calcified, doesn't move, not flexible. Old means not flexible. Now, if you're flexible, doesn't mean you're right. If every day you're jumping, doing bad deeds, and that's not called flexible. And you're trying to experiment new things, that's not called flexible. That's crazy. What flexible means is, you know you're doing the right thing, but you're ready to open your mind for change and growth. In the right line, if it will help you see God better and develop better. Because in order to be alive, vibrant means what? Children means what? Growth, baby, happening. When you make a cake, what do? You create. It's growth. Something's happening. You're doing something new, creative. But you're doing the same old cake again every time. It's the same cake. Gotta get a new style of cake. But it's doing good, so you keep it up. But you always look for, maybe I gotta get a better recipe, so I can find a cheaper way, I can get something new in it. That's cool, growth. But if I have them, okay, I'm set in my way, I know how to do it, don't bother me, this is it, finalize, then that's something. So, although the Almighty you see God in one way, and it's certain, you got to know there's certain time and place for everything. And the question is, in your life, your time and place, where is it and what is it?
It changes.
Let's say you're a little baby. You're a little baby, and you're born. You need to cry. So your mother says to you, now I understand, you're a cryberry. All the rest of your life, you're going to be crying and complaining. Is that the way to tell to a little baby that's growing up? No. When it's a baby, it cries. Because it has to cry because there's no way of expressing itself. You don't say you're a crybaby now and all the rest of you're a crybaby. Therefore that's the pattern you have and you're finished and damned and doomed and finished. No end to you. You say, right now, there's a way of expressing. Now, if I cry, I'll express. But that's only one mode in which to express myself. Maybe I'll have words. Maybe I can do other things to express myself or express pain. I want to read the last part of this. It's still here. I'll give you an example why I saw this a little bit. You know, when you get these people involved in Rahman's and Jesus, or then I said, God spoke to me, and if it can't take out of my mind, I say it one way, I heard it. Okay. That's the end. There's nothing to talk about. That's not so. You have to have growth, you have to have the development, you have to get the different time and place. And the main thing is that the people make mistakes, stay Shiur. The end of the piece goes stay Shiur. Yes?
It's something in the mind, this inflexibility, right?
The mind has a thing called consistency. You have to be consistent, you have to be stable, so that's what you want. But there also is a thing called flexibility. You have to have growth, you have to move, you can't, so you have fears put you together, hold you to be unflexible, and to be rigid and hard. And adventure means forward, experiment, try. So you got to make the right shlav, how to make the right jump in order to get closer to God. But the final end, at the end you have to make a leap of faith. Everybody has to make a leap of faith. If you have certain things in life that whatever you have you got to make a leap of faith. When you got married, you anything about your husband? A little bit. You knew as much as you knew about you. No, so you make a leap. Certain things you have, you make a leap and you go forward. Like the frog. What does a frog do? It jumps. There's no maybe it's going to be it's going to fall on a nail or stones. It's going to stick it in the frog. The frog jumps up. That's the epitome of faith. Jumps, and we'll land. That's faith. Most of the time, the frogs don't fall on a pointy object. So you have to become growth happening in your system, and also hold on to God as much as you do to jump another level. Now, you see God in one way. There's God another way, so you're going to say, maybe this time and place I saw it this way. Another time I see another way. But you can't say rigid, this is it. I saw it once, that's it. But in the end, whatever you're going to have, whatever's going to be, you have to make that leap to another HaShem that there's one God and there's oneness in the world. Yes.
But they say, don't people, like to hear people say that, well, how could a God who let the Holocaust happen, how could he be a, you know what I mean? But they saw HaShem in one mode, so then they say, well, this can't be a kind God, they can't be festive.
That's right.
You know, they want to like generalize, that's God.
That's bad. That's exactly bad. Why? They limit it to they see din. Where's the mercy of God in the world? No, I saw one time, one place, and that's the end.
And it's their choice. They're making the choice.
Because that's what they want to see. That's what they saw. But that doesn't mean that's the only thing, the only way of seeing God or seeing God. There are many other ways, and you have to grow from that. There's an experience to grow when it comes to death or anything. There's an experience to grow in life, happiness, or marriages, daughters getting married, husbands, wives, growth, there's always something happening new, excitement. You learn from each experience, but you have to learn towards the goal of seeing the oneness of God. And you have all these shapes and forms that God makes you come on to Him or see Him. He makes you come on to see Him, that He's the boss, not you. That's how you grow. You got to make that leap. Anyway, take it for one. Any other questions? Yes.
When you say that you have to make that leap, is it like something you do in your daily life, or something that you're waiting to do?
Well, that's an interesting question. The real truth is, when you're ready, it's going to be every day of your life. You make it once in a lifetime. It means that you go in a certain way, and then you see HaShem, and you wonder, why does HaShem reveal you this way? What's his message? What do you want you to do? What is the new thing I should add to my life? What new dimension should I have now? What new aspect should I now have? And what should I see differently than I didn't see before? How can I grow more? You make every day, you make the leap. But you got to become vibrant and alive. You can't be old. What does old mean again? Again, let's talk about old. Rigid. Calcium gets onto the spinal cord. You don't move. You're stuck in your way. My father was an older man. I would have to tell him a day in advance that in 2 days from now we're going to do something. I couldn't tell him right away because he was getting rigid. And I had to tell him in advance what I'm going to do. And then he already planted in his mind, and then he was able to accept it and go forward. Otherwise, it was too hard to accept this.
What do you do to change it, that it should be easy to be flexible?
But what do they do? And they do aerobics, right? And they do, no, that's not physical. Won't get you lighter, eat healthier food, lighter, lose weight. You have more activity, more flexibility. But that doesn't mean you're running and jump out of the roof. But that same thing is in mitzvahs. You do more mitzvahs. You do the mitzvahs with happiness. And your happiness and joy gives you what? Flexibility. Makes you move. Chesed moves you. Positive commands move. Excitement, happiness. That's a moving factor. Love. Those things move. And they can extend. Din, rules, pull you in. Fear, they'll pull you back. But there's a time for everything. On Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av, you don't expect the da-da-da. There's time and place. Time and place. And there's also phases of life. But in all phases you got to see God. In all phases you got to be growing. In all phases you got to what? Be growing, changing, happening, developing.
Does anybody speak about anything about Alzheimer's disease? I'm curious why do old people, sometimes they're not so old when they get it, but that in their late years, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that they,
See, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to explain to you. We're not there to judge. No, one thing first, you can't judge anybody anything. Why and what? We're not God to judge you what. Okay? That's one rule you have. You're not God to judge what. When you have a condition of somebody, you accept it, you want to help the person. You know why you got that? You know, so nobody says, Now, we can look around and find out in the Chazal what a Mida Keneged Mida, that affects the person themselves. To what they got to change, what they got to do. But you never look at anybody else and say, you know why that happened to you? We're not God to say why. We don't know why. We know why.
Are you supposed to do it to yourself? So wail after yourself?
Yeah, no. You know, no, I gotta repeat that again. When you do it to yourself, you're only guessing. But since it's on your mind like a dream, so you see it in front of you, so you know that surely you got to correct. Because your consciousness is bothering you. So your kidneys are bothering, telling you, you're doing this wrong. So, of course you're doing it wrong. Because why you're thinking you're doing this, the subconscious, the mind tells you you're doing wrong. Therefore you know it's wrong, so you better change. And not because this act may be Mida Keneged Mida, because it's on your mind. You know down deep, when things are bad, you shape up. You know what to shape up right away? You should do the dishes, you smile, yes, you listen, and whatever you do. So you know how to shape up. You know when to get loose. So it's like a shape up call. So you change. So you more or less, what comes to your mind right away is usually what's true. But that may not be the case. Maybe more things and other things. But definitely these things got to correct because they're bothering your conscious. So it comes from the subconscious to the conscious, and then all of a sudden you know about it. You definitely have to clean it up. Is this act the reason why? Maybe, and maybe not.
Miriam has reminded me about, this problem that the community has had, like with the teeth and the gums. You think, like, as a community, like, we could sort of, like, it's just like what that could be, something? I mean...
Well, there can be a physical thing. Everybody's eating the wrong foods, or there's a disease around.
What
No,
about the
but-
water? Is the water
I
checked
don't know.
or-
Could be.
It
Could be a lot of reasons. First, you look for physical.
But on
You have to look for spiritual
even if
reasons.
it's physical, there's
Yeah.
still some kind of, right, a message, something about teeth.
Definitely.
Something that's related to us
Yeah,
as a group,
definitely,
right?
definitely. You have to think about it. But you can't. You have to think about it. You have to definitely. Those that have it, you definitely think what's the common denominator. I'm happy you girls finished in the rain. Appreciate it. And maybe it's HaShem. Rain or shine, we should have to. One thing that is happening, I hope, that now I think they're going to send us more girls from these other programs to come here, and the place may start getting filled up with more girls. That's what's happening. They spoke to Jeff Seidel, and they're speaking to just, you heard about this stuff. And they're speaking, they're going to try to get more girls, they read a little bit, to send some. Everything has okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.